So I'd love to learn just a little bit more from you, Kirsten, about your LSAT prep journey and how you prepped on a budget.
So for me, I was not sure about law school until probably my senior year of undergrad. And when I graduated, I wanted to take 2 years off. So I had that time to basically think about if I really wanted to go to law school. I had a job at a law firm, and from there, I basically decided, okay, this is what I want. So my next step was looking at prep courses. I looked at Kaplan. I looked at, I think Manhattan Prep was another one. But I also knew my study style was that I needed some type of structure. So going to some pre-law conferences, I learned about this program with CUNY Law called Pipeline to Justice. And what they do is basically it's a 2-part prep course. And the first part, you have to apply and get accepted. But the first part is all LSAT prep for about 3 to 4 months. And you're paired with the teacher. It's a whole classroom setting. It's $800, which was really affordable considering the other programs like Kaplan started off at like $1,000. And basically it was 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays for about 4 hours. And then on Saturdays, we would have diagnostics every time. So I basically used that as my whole study structure, but I also used things like, who was it that had it? I think the LSAC website has free LSAT digital tests because when I took it, I wasn't sure if I was going to be one of the last people to take the paper one or the digital one. So I wanted to try to prep myself for the digital one because it was significantly different than the actual paper one. So I used those, but the only thing with that is it's very limited. They only have about like 3 of them on the LSAC website. So what I did in return was I reached out to some other pre-law type of Instagram focused pages and just people in general who had been through the process already. And they were super helpful in, giving me free resources and just a bunch of practice tests.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah, it's unfortunate that LSAC doesn't make that many exams available for free. It used to be just the June 2007 LSAT PDF. Then they released 3 exams to help people get familiar with the digital LSAT. Then they cut it back down to 2 exams. I don't know what they're up to with that, but the good news is that they actually have, speaking of prepping on a budget, they made it so that you can get access to nearly every single released exam, over 60 of them, in the digital LSAT and LSAT Flex format as part of official LSAT Prep Plus.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. And they just released it this year. So I don't think it was around back then when you were studying, but it's $99 a year for access, which is to some people a lot of money, to others not so much. The good news is that at least it's cheaper than it would have been getting them in books previously. And if you have an LSAC fee waiver, you get a year-long subscription to that for free. So folks should definitely know about that because you're getting them in the digital LSAT and the Flex format with the exact same software. Like doing it in books won't give you that experience. Even using PDFs won't give you that experience. Obviously, PDFs on a screen is nice and better than nothing. But if you could prep in the exact same way with all the annotations and the interactivity with the software, that's the best way of all, in my view.
Yeah, I was really lucky because my program, one of the directors has a close affiliation with LSAC people. So they were actually able to have LSAC come in and give us a full-on digital mock exam, with their tablets and their little styluses. So that was really helpful.
That's fantastic. This CUNY Pipeline to Justice program is awesome that they were doing that. And how many weeks did you say it was?
So it's about 3 months for the first part. And then what happens is they make you take 2 LSATs. So I took the January one. I waited for the results. Class still continued. I took the February one, got the results. And then depending what you get on the February one, they'll invite you to part 2 of the program. So then part 2 becomes almost like a mild L1. So they teach you like IRAC writing. We briefly went over torts. We went over some criminal law. So it's just really preparing you for the next step, which is official acceptance into the school.
That's amazing. I love these pipeline programs. But one question I have for you is, what are they doing during COVID if people can't meet up in person? Are they doing it online or are they holding off?
So for me, my first part, because it was pre-COVID, it was all in person. And then the second part was actually all virtual. So I got a taste of both worlds. I think they're doing virtual this year, I guess, for the fall for the other people applying. They did change it, though, in the application process. When I applied directly to the program. I had never taken the LSAT before. I had never done any type of prep courses. I took it cold. But I know that now you have to have already taken the LSAT and applied to CUNY Law. And if you get denied from CUNY Law, then they invite you to this program. But yeah, they're doing it basically all online. They more or less told us that fall 2020 is going to be online, which is a little bit nerve-wracking, considering law school.
Of course.
Not probably the best type of school to be online.
Yeah, lots of unknowns there, but we'll see what happens. And at least you have a little bit of a taste of the experience of what online could be like.
Yeah.
Meeting over Zoom and things like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thankful that they at least transitioned us for the second part, because we more or less know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know where you're going to be going to law school yet?
Yeah, CUNY.
Nice. Awesome. You got in. That's great.
Yeah,
You're going to go there specifically. That's amazing. Congrats.
Yes, thank you.
Nice. You got a couple months. And is that 1L prep still going on now over the summer?
So it is and it isn't. So I finished like the actual pipeline program, but then once you complete that, they have a program called Summer Law Institute, which is again another mild version of L1 that I think they go into a bit more detail than what the pipeline program had, just because now you're officially admitted to the school. So that begins in about 2 weeks. So I'll start that virtually again too, and then it does like a week of July and then a week in August, and then school officially starts at the latter end of August.
Nice. Well, it's great that you've got this on-ramp and you have a taste of what it's going to be like.
Yeah. And they're really helpful. Like CUNY had this whole Facebook group page for the students because they know it's difficult that everything's virtual, and even like orientation is virtual. I mean, it's crazy. I would have never thought that things would be like this.
No, nobody did, but it sounds like they're doing everything they can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Share a little bit about what you've got going on Instagram.
Yeah, so Courthouse Chica is just an Instagram page, basically focusing on preparing for law school on a budget and just the whole experience in general. So you could follow it on Instagram. There's also a YouTube channel that you could check out too, and it just gives tips and things like that.
Fantastic. Well, I definitely encourage folks to check you out. You're putting out a lot of good information. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.